Hello, everybody. You've tuned into the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance. Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. Tom Trial, our man behind the scene, putting us on YouTube each and every week. Are we good, Tom? We going? All right. Thumbs up from Tom. We're on the roll. Thank you, Tom, for what you do, and thanks to the Indiana State Police Alliance for what they do for us each and every week. Got an old friend back with me today, and have you been in here since you've got your new job?
Just once.
Just once. We've had you back. Okay. Will Wingfield used to be NDOT. Now is with ICJI, so used to be Indiana Department of Transportation, is now with Indiana Criminal Justice Institute, and he is a communications director there. So kind of the same thing, doing the same type of work, just a little different company that you're doing it for. So thanks for coming in. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
And we're going to be talking about something that's coming up here pretty quickly. I noticed that you guys just put out a release on this. That's the newest Click It or Ticket that's going to be happening here through ICJI. So tell us a little bit what's going to happen there, Will.
Yeah, so Indiana's been doing Click It or Ticket now for more than 20 years. And while people have probably heard or seen that tagline,
right,
they might not know what it is. It really is about enforcement. We have over 240 law enforcement agencies around the state, so many of them, including Indiana State Police, that do seatbelt enforcement leading up to the Memorial Day travel holiday, which of course kicks off the summer travel season.
Right.
And through that, it actually runs to the following weekend this year. So you'll have them be doing saturation patrols, roving patrols, to find people that aren't wearing their seatbelts, and to give them tickets. Click It or Ticket means zero tolerance. So they'll enforce other traffic laws, but if they see somebody that's not wearing their seatbelt in the front seat or the back seat, drivers or passengers, parents or kids, day or night, they're going to be giving out tickets.
And it also includes the child restraint systems. You know, if they're not properly placed in the car and not properly buckled in, and the child is not properly restrained in there, that's going to fall under that also. Because I know a lot of times we'll find out that the child may be in the car seat properly, but the car seat's not installed into the car properly. That's
right. So Indiana law says that any child under age 8 must be in a child seat or a booster seat. So if you don't have them, and the statistics when we look at them, they show that the parents who don't buckle themselves in are less likely to buckle their kids in. And adults become less vigilant with the kids as the kids get older. If the child is under 16, that's a ticket for them as well. So, and really, you've got to look out for everybody in the car. Anybody who's not properly restrained becomes a projectile in a crash. And so not only are they going to injure themselves, they can injure other people in the car too. I'm sure state police has seen crash scenes where somebody was properly buckled, but somebody else wasn't. And as a result, the person who was buckled sustained serious injury or worse. So what are our statistics showing? Are we improving here in Indiana, Will? So we've made really big strides, and I don't want to minimize that over the years. So when we started out, and let me find this statistic because it really is remarkable, since 2000, seatbelt rate in Indiana has increased from 62% to 93%. That's wonderful. So it is great, but you would ask yourself, okay, so we've largely solved this problem, haven't we? Not exactly. That remaining 7% makes up about half of all the deaths that we see on the roads each year. Right. So they are very much overrepresented in fatal crashes, and that's what we're working to stop. Law enforcement officers are writing tickets, but it's not about the citations. It's about preventing these preventable fatal crashes. It's about saving lives. And it's not only a fatal crash, but these can prevent injuries. This could bring it from a personal injury crash where you're going to end up going to the hospital for an injury, or somebody in your car is going to end up going to just a property damage crash where you're going to walk away from this and not endure hospital bills and ambulance rides and all the rest of that. So it's an insurance type of to keep you injured from getting hurt. And it only takes 3 seconds. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, very, very, very quick to do. And again, is a law. And are we finding that
a lot more pickup truck people are doing that now than we originally had.
Yeah, so that's been one of the bigger issues is that people in pickups and SUVs, because they're up higher on the road, because the cars are larger, they feel safer. So as a result, people are less likely to buckle up in those types of vehicles. So in rural areas, we're really trying to get that message out, and we've got a lot of great law enforcement agency partners in those areas. So where the Criminal Justice Institute comes in is we receive some federal Department of Transportation funds, and then we provide those to law enforcement agencies. Now, they have their regular time that they're paid for by their agencies. We're paying for overtime, basically, so that they can work overtime on these specific blitzes throughout the year. The last time I was here, we were talking about impaired driving around St. Patrick's Day and March Madness and spring break.
Right.
We do click it or ticket. We have drive sober or get pulled over leading up to Labor Day. And then we also do some enforcement around the holidays ahead of Thanksgiving. So those are our big blitzes that our 240 partners do throughout the year.
And some of the things that we see out there on the road, and I know you've got some safety tips listed in here that are great. You know, secure the lap belt across your hips and pelvis below your stomach, obviously. But place the shoulder belt across the middle of your chest, rib cage away from your neck. But this next one, like I've seen before, and I'm sure you've seen it too, never put the shoulder belt behind your back or under your arm. You're kind of defeating the purpose there. Yeah.
You know, just because the older cars didn't have that shoulder strap doesn't mean that it's optional.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, as people maybe get older and put on some more weight, or, you know, perhaps they're pregnant, those may become more uncomfortable over time.
Yeah.
But they're absolutely vital. The seatbelt's designed to work as a system. And so if you don't have one part there, the rest of it doesn't work right. And if you do have one of those older cars, you got a classic car or something, and it doesn't have a seatbelt or it doesn't have that shoulder belt, you can buy retrofits. A lot of the manufacturers will sell kits to put new standards in. So that's something that people should look into as well. And then, you know, going back to child passenger restraints, there's a whole long laundry list of things that you can do. First and foremost, just read the manual and install it correctly. But even before that, go to safercar.gov / the right seat and find the right seat for your child's height and weight. They really encourage you to do those rear-facing seats as long as possible, even though it's not required under state law. You want your kids to be as safe as possible.
Right.
And they found that the leading cause of death for kids who don't often get heart disease and cancer, it's car crashes. And so, you know, that's where it becomes really important to choose the right seat. Find a technician in your area. There's hundreds to help install the seat properly. I know they'll be doing a clinic at the Indianapolis Zoo. They're going to be doing others around the state later this year, and so getting the right seat installed properly, and then obviously use it properly.
Yeah, and that's like you said, that's the best type of insurance on those, is to make sure that you install it properly. And there are places that will teach you how to install it properly, and a lot of people don't know that, because the car seat, when it is put in there, should not move more than an inch when it's placed in there properly and be really tight. But we try to tell people also the safest place to install that is the back seat, in the middle of the back seat, if you at all possible. You know, you have that one child, and of course the reason for that is that's the farthest away from any crash zone. If you get hit on the sides or anywhere else, is the farthest place for that child to actually get struck from anything coming inside that car or moving that. So the back seat, the middle, is the safest place if you can. And
Yep, and those car seats work. I mean, I've seen reports of crashes where the adults in the car sustain serious injuries, and the child in the car seat is, you know, walks away with barely a scratch. And so when they're the right seat, installed properly, used properly, they really make a difference. And you know, one thing about this time of year, some things that parents might not remember is now that winter is hopefully largely over, they should retighten those straps.
Exactly.
They will be loosened in November and December to fit the coats. We tell people to take off the big puffy coats because those will actually make the seats less safe. But now that winter's over and kids are wearing shorts and short sleeves, be sure to remember to tighten those straps again for this time of year.
Readjust those for the kids that are in there and make sure they're doing it right.
Yep.
And another thing that you want to, and a lot of cars now do it for you, but is the airbags, right? Mm-hmm. Make sure that the child's not someplace that is going to get struck by an airbag.
And that's exactly why we say put the kids in the rear seat so that the airbag does not push them into the car seat or create some other issue that is not designed. Really, you should be keeping kids out of the front seat of the car until their age 13 or so. Really as long as possible. Mm-hmm. Obviously once they're driving, they can make it up into the front seat. But
I don't know.
Even then,
that's debatable with some bit.
Right. So that's that is the issue, and people tend to think that even as adults, being in the back seat may be safer, but you still got to buckle up in the back seat too.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Well, again, you're listening to the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance and Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. I'm speaking with Will Wingfield. He's Communications Director for the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute, and we're talking about Click It or Ticket, which is going to be coming up again. What's the dates on this?
So we're being a little vague about when the dates are because we want people to buckle up all year round. We don't want them to say, "Oh, okay, well, this date's over, so I don't have to be quite as vigilant." But we're going to run it for roughly 3 weeks from May into early June, and through the Memorial Day weekend, where there'll be a lot of enforcement. So hopefully, people as they're traveling to see family and friends over Memorial Day, hopefully it'll be nice weather, or traveling to Indianapolis for the race. That
absolutely
that they're seeing the cops and they're saying, you know what, I need to buckle up.
One thing that you had in your seatbelt tips here that I've touched on a lot when talking to groups about seatbelts and the kids is if the seatbelt doesn't fit you. There are a lot of larger people anymore say, I can't get the seatbelt on, it doesn't fit me, and there's a solution to that, isn't there? Yeah,
you can buy extenders. There are ways to do it. Just make sure that when you're doing it, that you're not going on Amazon or eBay and trying to find the cheapest solution possible. You want to find one that's a reputable company that allows you to continue to be safe. The manufacturers are held to really high standards. Mm-hmm. We get our federal money from an agency that does all of the regulation and all of the standards to make cars as safe as they can be. A good example, now starting this month, all cars that are sold have to come with a backup camera, which helps prevent kids that are smaller than the trunk of the car and can't be seen by the rear view from getting backed over. So standards keep getting better, but aftermarket products, you need to make sure that those are safe and that they're from reputable companies.
And probably to make sure that they fit your vehicle. I know every manufacturer out there you can get it through them.
Right.
So you can go into their auto parts counter there. And in the past, I don't know if it's still true or not, but in the past, they've just given me one.
Yeah.
Because I actually had a car that the gun belt was right over the top of where I sit in there, the holster sit in there, and it's very, very hard to get it into.
Yeah.
So got one of those extenders which made it get in and out of the car a lot easier.
Yeah.
They'll just give you one. But I don't know if that's still true or not, but I would think that they could probably work with you on that to do that. But that is a great thing. If you know somebody, get that gift for them.
Yeah.
Somebody that doesn't utilize them, and you can help them out with that.
And I think that's when we talk about that remaining 7% of folks that don't buckle up, and the numbers keep going down year over year. The people least likely to buckle up are men,
right,
under age 45 or so, and everybody knows this. You've got family members and friends who see them not buckling up. Remember, they can be projectiles if you get into a crash. So if they're not buckling up, speak up.
Exactly. Well, Will, thank you. We've used all the time here talking up, but I appreciate you coming in here. Good luck with this, and hopefully we'll bring this number even further down.
I hope so.
Thank you. Will Wingfield with the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute, talking about the upcoming Click It or Ticket. Make sure you buckle up each and every time you go out, and make sure those kids are buckled up. That's the important part about it. So thank you again for listening to the ISP Roadshow. We'll catch you again next week. ISP Roadshow out.